I'm going to give a CD away, and while Dane's in the studio right now, he will sign it to you, okay? So I'm going to give Dane Sharp's CD away after we come back. Please do not ring while we're on air, and the first caller in will win the CD. Okay, so there you go. Dane, now, Tony's just mentioned about you do your signature D sharp. What's the story behind that?
It's a funny story, actually. Duncan kind of came up with the idea, and he was kind of thinking of something to do for merchandise and stuff like that, and he's fiddling around with it. Everyone kind of laughed, and then he sort of said, oh, I think it's a good idea, you know. So I was like, I'm good with it, you know. So it's kind of like, as in D sharp, the music note, you know. And the first time I did it, I signed it for this young guy, about 10 I think he was, and he said, hey mate, you spelt your name wrong. So I was like, maybe I better actually do it as, like, do my name and then we'll add it in. I said, we trialled it, and I said, I don't think anyone gets it. And everyone's going to think I'm pretty dumb if I can't spell my own name. So it's just a little thing we do, and it's going to be on some of the merchandise and stuff too. So yeah.
Yeah, I've actually got a couple of your signatures anyway. One particular item that you sent Melita a little while back.
What was that?
A shirt.
Ah, the soccer shirt, yes.
She loves that. She won't let no one touch it.
It's always hard when you're going to get a lady's size, because you don't want to say, I'd seen a picture of it, I was like, it's got to be medium, but you don't want to ring up and say, should I get a large? It's gone horribly wrong for me too many times when I do that.
Well, if she had been in the studio, I would have said a little bit more.
So I went with the medium and it fitted well, so I was happy with that. But I'm glad she likes it.
No worries. I believe Melita wants to ask a couple of questions to Dane. Melita,
I'm scared.
I'm
scared.
No, it's nothing to be scared of. Yes, actually, I was a bit interested about this one, and about the song "Nothing to Lose." Who is or was in the history of this song?
History of this song is, in some ways, the story of my life, you know. Look, obviously I talked about when I finished the soccer thing, I did a few years of the pub scene, 3 nights a week, very tiring, you know, finishing, packing up, playing at no one, all that kind of stuff. And I started doing this country run because, you know, you don't really know what you're doing. I still don't know what I'm doing, but you kind of start to work things out as you go. And I got this country run where I would play Friday nights, Saturdays and Sunday, and it was about, I think it was about 700 kilometres, so it was a long drive. It was just me on acoustic, and I was out there a couple of weeks before. I was out near Monto, and it was good. It was like about 50, 100 people there, and I loved it, and I'm like, how cool is this? And I went back the next trip, and there was 3 people, because the footy grand final, the footy, we call it, presentation was on. So I was driving back, and there was an accident on the freeway that somebody had overturned or something. So the whole freeway was at a standstill, and so it was pretty weird. I got out of the car and I sat on the bonnet, and it was a beautiful night. It was summer, and I thought to myself, how long can I keep just doing this drive and doing this? Like, I need an album, you know. So I made it at that time. I'd had this song, and I didn't have a title, and I was like, it's called Nothing to Lose, and nothing to lose what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it alone and make an independent album, and go to Nashville, and so it was kind of like, what happens if I don't do this? I'm never going to know, and I'm just so glad. They were all right too when the traffic finally got moving again. There was nobody hurt, which was, thank God for that. But yeah, sat there for half an hour and came up with that, and realised that I had nothing to lose by taking out a loan and doing that. I could have lost some money, but you know, who cares? You can get that back. But when you're chasing the dream, just do it, you know. So a bit of a long answer there. Yeah.
Have you been to Nashville?
I have been to Nashville. Like I said, that was a while ago, and I took out that loan, and I made an independent album, and I got signed to a record deal from that album. So we redid that album, but that got everything kicked off, and went to Nashville and had an absolute ball. And we've got all this old footage of that too, so we're kind of working out how to put that into a clip at the moment. And I've got a song called Nashville, Tennessee, and we can play that later on. And that's going to be a lot of fun putting that old footage in there too. So I had short hair there, believe it or not, but it wasn't that short, but it was short too. But yeah, Nashville was amazing. It was such a good trip, and I had no idea what to expect, no idea what I was doing, and found myself like a week later I'd met up with a singer-songwriter from England, Pt2. I've never been able to find him, and I still can't find him, but we travelled around in a camper van because he said he had these gigs booked out, and he said, "Do you want to support me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, oh, cool." So we played out at some amazing little places, and yeah, it was fantastic.
Cool.
Never forget it.
Actually, I got a little question. Somewhere, I'm not sure how correct this is, but that's what I'm going to ask you. Somewhere I saw about Keith Urban and Kenny Chesney. Was it in a profile of yours or something that you've sang with them or supported with them?
It's always funny when I like when things get mixed up slightly. It's like, that's the story, but no, that's not the story. I was lucky enough. I'd been corresponding with Keith Urban's singing teacher, and his name's Brett Manning, and he's a lovely guy, and he coaches Keith on vocals. And I got to catch up with him, so we've been talking for a few years, just obviously on email and stuff like that. And the Kenny Chesney contact was, I was lucky enough to stay with a lady called Luann Reed, who wrote the song On the Coast of Somewhere Beautiful. So I was really lucky. I've been in the wrong place at the wrong time many times in my life, but this trip I was actually in the right place at the right time, and she pointed me in the right direction, because to work out Nashville probably usually takes about 12 months of who to see and who not to see, but she had me in some pretty good places within that week, and writing with some amazing writers, and just showing me where to go, and I'll always be thankful for her for that, and we're still in contact, and I'll catch up with her when we go back over, hopefully next year. So she's a lovely lady, and had some big hits. So.